master at the helm there.
Alright, hi everyone, here's Chris from Easy Tiger 2, and this is the second video which we promised you, looking back on our circumnavigation and trying to tell you what we found out. So we've been asked a couple of times how much it cost us to do this, and it's actually quite difficult to get this pinned down exactly, but we spent about 3,800 quid on mooring, fuel, canal fees, food from board and restaurant meals ashore. And that figure excludes the costs of any repairs, which are things which might have happened anyway and we would have had to repair them whatever happened. Okay, and it also excludes the cost of travelling to and from places like Hartlepool, where we'd left the boat for a week or so. We also had a kind of onboard thing which we wouldn't log how much beer we drank and whether we bought rounds for each other, so the figure didn't include drinks in pubs. So what does that work out at? Well, depending on how you calculate these things, it's about 63 quid a night on board, or 86 quid per place visited, or £2.11 per mile sailed. All sorts of different metrics are possible. This is just a reminder of what we did in terms of where we went, and as you can see from the picture, we spent quite a lot of time in marinas, relatively speaking. So in this particular thing, the red places are the places where we were anchored, and obviously that's effectively free, and the blue places were places where we'd had to pay marinas or somebody to look after the boat for a period of time. We didn't have to pay at Milford Haven because of Mike's very kind loan of a mooring buoy, but at Hartlepool, Inverness and Holyhead we had at least a week of leaving the boat and the consequent marina fees that come with that. So of course that racks up the cost, because you're kind of paying for something but not actually enjoying it at the same time. So thinking about whether this was good value for money or not, it's a bit difficult to work out. I think we were quite happy with that. We had quite a lot of meals ashore. If you wanted to save money, clearly you can do a lot of saving of money by eating on board, but we felt that given we were only going to be a short time in each place, the idea that you'd sit in the marina and have a meal on the boat didn't seem to me to be making the most of having gone to somewhere. You could save a lot of money by anchoring more often, and if your boat's up for anchoring, that's great, and of course if your boat can take the ground, that's even better. So you could save a lot of money that way, but all in all, I think given the amount of time I was effectively on holiday, that was quite reasonable. And those figures, by the way, are the figures for the totals, not each person. There's totals for all the people on board. For most of the trip, Paul and I were on board, but we also had James on for some of it and Nigel and Sue for another part of it. So those are the total costs. Now this is one, number 9. The bigger and faster your boat, the fewer places you'll get into. Now this is a hypothesis that we have based on experience of trying to take Easy Tiger around the country. Now Easy Tiger 2 is a First 33.7, which is what they used to call a cruiser racer. So this was intended to be a quickish boat, but still capable of cruising. And as you can see from the video, it's got a long, deep fin keel. It's 2.1 meters deep, and as a result, it's able to hold up a lot of sail area. So it's got a keel-stepped mast, big sail area. It goes very nicely indeed. And this is a good thing if you want to make quick passages, because you can get between A and B very quickly. Indeed, this boat has done the Fastnet race 3 times, so it's quite a safe and seaworthy boat. The downside of this, of course, is that deep fin keel simply rules out a whole load of places which you can't really get into. One of the issues is that even if you could dry out against a wall, you need to tie the front of the boat down because it leans back dreadfully when you do dry it out. Of course, that means being there at a tide beforehand to get some ropes to tie it onto the ground to stop it tipping back. Clearly not something you can do when you're rocking up to a harbour in the Moray Firth or something like that. So an awful lot of places we could have gone to, or would have liked to have gone to, we couldn't get into because of the depth of the keel. So just thinking about the places we could have gone, so this is Wells Next to Sea, which is a very pretty little place, but as you can see from this aerial shot, it's got a narrow entrance across some sandbars, and there's only a couple of places in the harbour which can take a boat with our draft. And if we look at other places on our trip round that we could have gone to, this is Bridlington. Again, as you can see from this aerial shot, there's not a lot of deep water in Bridlington when there's low water, so that's not possible. And the downside is that there isn't really a sensible anchorage nearby either, so you can't kind of go there and change your mind and then anchor outside, because there isn't really a very sensible place to do that. This is Scarborough, again somewhere we thought about going but we didn't end up going. And then this is Whitby. We've already told you about Whitby, but Whitby's got some deep water berths, but they were all full when we wanted to go there, so that meant we couldn't go in. And then the same applies to Eyemouth. Eyemouth has got some deep water berths, but again we couldn't get in. And then there's a whole load of places around the rest of the country. This is Banff, you're not going to get in there with a deep keel. This is Lossiemouth, where we are there, we're up against the wall, but we were only able to do that, according to the harbour master, on neaps. We would be on the ground otherwise. And then this is another little fishing village, Burrhead. There's a whole load of little fishing villages around the place which we simply couldn't get into. And as we come out down the other side, there's other nice little places that we could go to, like this is Newquay in Wales, and this is the inner harbour of Fishguard. And this is Solva. So a whole load of places which you can't easily get into. So if you're thinking about circumnavigation and you've already got a boat, well, you just need to bear that in mind when you're just trying to decide where you want to go. If you are thinking about buying a boat, you want to think hard about where you actually want to go and visit. So if you did want to go and visit places like Solva, you would really need to get yourself some kind of bilge keeler or something which can wind up its keel. So just a little thing to bear in mind. A lot of places get ruled out if you have a bigger, faster boat. Okay, hi everyone. That's the end of this video. A bit of a short one, I realise, but I'm going to do some more videos. I'm going to do something on passage planning, and I'll also do something on the boat and what it was like. I'll do a bit of a boat tour in future videos. Meanwhile, have a good Christmas 2022 and see you next year.